What's the current plan for the Peachtree Road Race?
So the Atlanta Track Club opened up its registration for the 51st running of the Peachtree on March 15th, and it's scheduled to close on March 31st. So, in short, our planning is full steam ahead, with the understanding that we are also building contingency planning into our process, so that if we get to the 4th of July and are unable to deliver the Peachtree to Atlanta in a way that is deemed safe, that all involved will have options.
What are some contingent plans that you're looking into?
So we've created sort of this parallel track for some percentage of our staff to take time to look at what some of those contingency plans could or would be. And the most obvious one is a postponement around a different day. But as you might imagine, there's a whole lot of uncertainty involved with that right now, because city planners, emergency management officials are all focused on today, on getting everyone safe, on treating those who are sick. So that contingency planning will have to play out a little bit. But what we can say is that if you have registered for this event or you do plan to register for this event, we will give you some options and some consideration should the Peachtree not happen in 2020.
So that's a possibility that you've thought about it not happening this year at all.
Yes, I think in these times of uncertainty, we have to plan for everything. So we've planned for and through a drought that prevented us from finishing in Piedmont Park. We actually executed a race with a lightning strike in the middle of the race. And all of our planning, we've never thought through the impacts of a global pandemic. So short answer is there is nothing off the table in our planning process for 2020. But understand, we're 101 days from the Peachtree. So we are largely full steam ahead, hopeful that we'll be able to deliver that celebration that everyone knows to be Atlanta on the 4th of July.
When's the last time that the race didn't happen on the 4th of July? Has that happened before?
It has not happened. So we've had 50 runnings of the Peachtree consecutively on the 4th of July.
And it's never been canceled altogether either.
That's correct.
Oh wow! So we're in unprecedented, uncharted waters here with everything. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So, do you think even after all this is over and all this has passed, this is the largest 10K in the world. Do you think that there are going to be the amount of runners that you've seen in the past, or do you still think that there are going to be people that maybe aren't comfortable being around those large crowds just yet?
Well, I would start by saying Atlanta Track Club, we're a 55-year-old organization with health and fitness being our mission. So we lead with health and safety in everything that we do. So I can say for certain that we will not host this event if we do not think we can do it in a safe manner. With respect to the interest and the demand in these uncertain times, tens of thousands of people have already spoken. They said, hey, listen, if the Peachtree happens, we want to be a part of it.
Okay. Now, with all this being said, right now you are planning. We're like you said, 100 some days out from it. There's a lot going on, a lot of moving parts. How are you and your team working around the quarantine, the stay at home orders? Are you abiding by that stuff? Like, how are you guys getting through this time?
Well, our staff is getting intimately familiar with Google Hangouts, so we are following the procedures and the recommendations and the requirements of the city of Atlanta. So we've got roughly 35 employees, and we are all socially distant. We're working remotely, and we have postponed or canceled all of our programming, all of our in-person programming until May 1st. So we are managing, we are planning remotely, we're meeting almost every hour virtually, so that we get to the 4th of July in a place to deliver the Peachtree that everyone knows and expects, but planning for the alternative.
What are some of the challenges for people that don't know all of the the things that go into planning this kind of event? What are some of the challenges of working remotely? What are some of the things that maybe you aren't able to do, or that you can't quite put a bow on that maybe you'd like to?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind as you prepare for Peachtree is that the Peachtree is this lightning in a bottle phenomenon with thousands and thousands of people that have been doing it for decades. And a good number of those people want to come into our office and register and ask questions and have them answered in that face-to-face environment. So we've lost that. So we've doubled down on the amount of time and effort that we're spending communicating to our participants via email and via phone. So that's one. Two, there are tremendous number of constituent groups that are involved in the planning, and that includes a large number of emergency management officials from the city of Atlanta and Fulton County. We have not asked, nor do we expect, any of those people who are providing vital services at this critical time to be involved in a conversation with us about the Peachtree just yet. That's weeks and potentially a couple of months away. So we're planning independently with the understanding that we hope this event's going to happen. We expect this event to happen. But if it doesn't happen, we're going to provide a solution for everyone who registered.
Right now, you personally, how confident are you that this race will go on July 4th?
One thing that I've learned in these last 10 days is that the experts, the infectious disease experts, the emergency management officials, and economic advisors, they don't know what 30 days looks like from now. Never mind 101 days. So I'm going to avoid giving you sort of on a scale of 1 to 10 type answer. We are essentially going through an exercise. We're saying this event's going to happen. We're not looking left. We're not looking right for those staffers who are charged with making this event happen. And then we're taking other staffers who are building those contingency plans. And I would follow up, if you don't mind, with an address of the question that we're getting a lot from those as they go to their computer to register. Will I get a refund if the event doesn't happen? And there's a bit of a long answer to that. The short answer that we've been giving everyone is that this event doesn't happen in 2020. We will offer you options and consideration. The no refund policy that the Peachtree has had, and quite frankly, every endurance event around the world has had, doesn't necessarily apply in these times of uncertainty. We can't conduct our business if we simply say, hey, on June 20th, if you decide you want a refund, we can give it to you. We can't operate with that level of uncertainty. But what we can say to you is if the event does not happen in 2020, we will give you options, we will give you consideration, and one of those options will be the opportunity to get a refund.
Okay. And just not Peachtree related, more now on the Olympic trials that just happened. First off, I mean, how proud were you of how that event went for you all?
Tremendously proud. That was a 2-year. The Peachtree is a 1-year process. We've always seen it as a marathon process, but this was an ultra marathon. When we bid for those trials and packaged them with the public's Atlanta Marathon, we wanted to create a celebration for all of Atlanta that reignited that Olympic spirit from 1996. And never did we imagine that we would actually literally partner with Georgia State and light the cauldron from 1996. We expected 100,000 people out on the course cheering on those Olympic hopefuls. There were more than 200,000 people out there. So Atlanta did what Atlanta does best and provided a great home to a world-class sporting event.
Have you heard anything about those that did qualify, how that's going to work out for them? Now, obviously, the Olympics being postponed until 2021, are they going to have to re-qualify? How's that going to work out? Do you know?
That's a great question. While Atlanta Track Club and and myself as the executive director don't have a real voice in that conversation. That's a USOC and a USA Track and Field decision. Certainly, our opinion is those three men and those three women earn their chance to represent this country in the Olympic Games, whether that's in 2020 or 2021. And I hope that that is the decision that's made.
Now, if let's say it goes the other way, would Atlanta need to host those trials again? How would that work?
That's a great question. I'm going to say it right now. We're focused on the Peachtree.
Okay.
And we'll tackle that question and that answer if and when it comes up. But I and everyone at Atlanta Track Club, and I think everyone in Atlanta hopes that those people who gave us a great show here on the weekend of February 29th get the opportunity to wear the red, white, and blue in Tokyo in 2021.
Awesome, Rich. Thanks so much for your time. Anything else you want to add that I missed?
No, and if as you're packaging this, I would just say I want to remind everyone, Atlanta Track Club's mission. We're a nonprofit. Our mission is about health and fitness. So we won't have this event if there's any doubt about our ability to deliver it in a safe manner on July 4th.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rich. I appreciate your time.